Now, the government and faith-based organizations have called for stronger partnerships to help vulnerable communities cope with the growing effects of climate change, warning that recurring drought, floods, and environmental degradation continue to threaten livelihoods right across the country. Speakers called for a shift from climate change discussions to practical action, urging stakeholders to invest in environmental conservation, to improve waste management, and also to support vulnerable communities that are facing climate challenges. Here now is that report.
During a climate resilience and social protection forum organized by Green Faith Africa, experts noted that the effects of climate shocks such as floods and droughts continue to be felt by families, with children among the most vulnerable.
The climate shocks affect vulnerable communities time and time again. First responders when these things happen, droughts, flood, everything else, are faith leaders. And yet they are very ill prepared and not even financed. And they are also not included in these spaces when the strategies are being drawn, when decisions are being made. And so as Green Faith, what we're saying is that we'd like faith institutions and faith leaders to be recognized.
The religious leaders are the people who can help us reach the communities, train them on better ways of adapting to the climate change.
To strengthen Kenya's position as a global climate champion, the clergy and the government called for proper waste management and support for vulnerable communities whose contribution to climate change is minimal but still suffer the consequences of global warming.
We are here today to ask ourselves, how can we move from just creation of awareness and understanding that climate change is affecting us to a place where we can say, what can we do? Moving ourselves from being concerned to action, that we have to take the right action to protect ourselves.
We want to also ask that when policies are being made, we would like faith leaders to be there, because they bring faces of communities of those who have been affected in the conversation. The conversation with faith leaders on climate change matters is not abstract, because they are talking about the people they see on a daily basis in their congregations.
To further cushion the elderly and those with severe disabilities, the government of Kenya is expanding the cash transfer program, which currently supports more than 440,000 vulnerable households.
The government is focusing on supporting vulnerable families, and we are doing this through, for example, we have the cash transfer for orphans and vulnerable children. Again, these are the children who are mainly in the arid and semi-arid areas where climate shocks really happen and hardly hit the children.
We're also talking about our shared humanity, which calls us to be caregivers to one another as we give care to the environment. And when we talk of social safety nets, we are talking about communities caring for the vulnerable.
Speakers noted that climate change is not only an environmental issue, but also a moral responsibility requiring collective efforts to protect people and the planet.
Environmentalists say involving the faith-based community is key in combating climate change. For KBC Channel 1, I am Teresa Mutai.